sun dips low in the palmetto sky. Friday night's calling and the towns go quiet. From Doug Shaw Memorial to John McKissick Field, Carolina football, it's the heart we feel. Pickup trucks line up, tailgates in a row, Hot Stadium's rocking, Abbeville's ready to go. The Sumter game, Cox charge, Gaffney's standing tall. Every small town's dreaming neath the lights of fall. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound. Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. In Gilbert, America, the bleachers fill with pride. Cheerleaders shout, the band's playing, no one's staying inside. The boys in pads hit hard, chasing that old dream. Under stadium lights, it's more than just a team. Mamas clutch their programs, daddies yell the calls. Grandpas talk of legends in these hallowed football halls. From the low country marshes to the upstate's clay, four-quarter Friday lights the Carolina way. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound. South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. Shaw's roar to McKissick's sacred ground. Hot Stadium's fire, you can feel the sound. Sumter Gamecocks fly, Gaffney holds a line. J-Mo run the dang ball, we're screaming for a sign. Rivalries burn bright, the clock's ticking down. On four-quarter Friday, we're the talk of town. When the whistle blows and the scoreboard fades away, the lessons from the field guide us every day. Teamwork, grit, and pride, it's more than just a score. Carolina football's what we're fighting for. From the PD rivers to the upstate's misty hills, four-quarter Friday gives our hearts a thrill. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound. South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. So here's to the Palmetto boys, giving it their all on a four-quarter Friday. South Carolina stands
tall. Welcome to Four-Quarter Friday, part of the Chief Sports Network, talking South Carolina high school sports every Friday morning. Hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall, with weekly appearances from coaches, players, and media around the state. Let's go! Here's Justin and Steve. Happy Friday.
That's right. Happy Friday to you. We're glad you're with us on Four Quarter Friday, talking high school football as we are halfway through the month of October. Hard to believe we are already there. And we are just a couple of weeks away from solidifying a playoff bracket and talking playoff football. And we got a lot of games this week that are going to go a long way in determining that. Justin Hall, Steve Hall with you on the Chief Sports Network. Glad you're with us. Remember to download that Chief Sports app. You can follow every game tonight with that scoreboard that's on the app. And you can stream several games there on the app as well. But a beautiful, a little chilly, dare I say, Friday morning here in the Midlands of South Carolina. Wherever you are, we appreciate you watching and listening. Good to see Lance and Roger, our regulars, in the chat this morning, and we're glad you're with us. And Steve, we started off with a good one. Had a great conversation with Coach Willie Fox yesterday. How about this? Swansea just one of 3 Midlands area teams left that are undefeated in 2025.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely one of the best games of the week. They got a really tough matchup against the Silver Bluff Bulldogs. Had a chance to sit down with Coach Hayes yesterday, and they've had a very tough schedule thus far. We'll dig into that a little bit later, but he's looking. They're looking forward to this matchup with the Tigers in Swansea, South Carolina tonight.
They are. And we recorded that interview yesterday, so let's go ahead and let you hear from head coach Willie Fox of the Swansea Tigers. A great interview, a great person, a great head coach. Let's hear what he has to say about tonight's matchup. Welcome back into Four Quarter Friday. Glad you're with us on a Friday morning. It's a beautiful day in the state of South Carolina, and that means there's time for high school football tonight. And we got a big one of our games of the week tonight, Silver Bluff and Swansea. And we welcome in Coach Willie Fox of the Swansea Tigers to the program. Coach, thanks for joining us. Glad you're with us. Off to another great start this year. This is the second year in a row where you guys have started really hot. And I don't know if we can say start anymore because we're 2 weeks away from the end of the year. But just another great year for you guys down in Swansea with still a lot more to go.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me on. And yeah, we've gotten off to a good start. And now that we're into region play, we have a relatively small region. So we're just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys were off to a fast start. Let's recap, folks, on this because obviously the high school scoreboard show I do on Friday nights is Midlands centric, but we talk about the entire state, and we had you on that a few weeks ago, and we appreciated that. But the season has sort of matriculated even more since then. For folks who don't know about Swansea, before you got there, they were sitting at 0-19, 0 for their last 19, and had really fallen on some hard times. But last year we saw a bit of a rebirth from both Swansea and from Batesburg-Leesville. This year we're seeing it from Pillion as well. You guys started the year hot last year, a very hot start to the year, and then took a loss to the Barnwell Warhorses, and then were able to finish the year 7-4. So a 7-4 off of an 0 for the last 19 is a good rebound in my opinion in a first year. But you guys have just built on that. What's been the key for you guys being able to sustain success from year to year and get off to a better start this year than you did last?
I think just the kids. I know it's coach talk, but the kids have really bought into what we're trying to do. We are drastically different scheme wise than what the previous staff was, and we just feel like the kids are buying into it. We're, for the most part, we're executing at a pretty high level most of the time. Not as high level as I wish we were all the time. But we are moving. I think we're moving in the right direction. I just think our kids have really tried to buy into what we're doing.
Let's talk about Silver Bluff for a minute. What is the key for you guys tonight as you go take on that team that's playing well? And again, you mentioned a small region, not a very big one compared to some of the other ones like Airport and BC play in. My gracious, 8 teams in a region is unheard of anymore. What's the key to success tonight? What do you guys need to do offensively, defensively tonight to make sure you get to an 8-0 record?
Past 2 weeks, Silver Bluff has forced 9 turnovers with their defense. We have got to take care of the football. They almost beat Newberry a couple weeks ago. They forced 5 turnovers in that ball game. And then last week against Keenan, I'm pretty sure it was 4 turnovers. We have got to take care of the football offensively. We've got to prioritize ball security, which we did not do in this game last year. So we've got to do a much better job of taking care of the football. And then we have to tackle well defensively. You've got to do that every week, but Silver Bluff is a team that is very hard to tackling space. They have a lot of speed, and we've got to do a good job of getting them on the ground and getting a lot of hats to the football.
Coach, I'm just looking here, and again, this is rudimentary stuff, so I'm not going to say I'm breaking any news here, but you guys have only surrendered. Your high water mark defensively is 22 points, and that was in your last time out against Keenan before the bye week. But then I say, okay, well, what's Silver Bluff doing offensively? Well, they've only scored less than 22 points twice, and one of them was a shutout at the hands of Strom Thurmond, who's having a very good year. So, what do you guys need to do defensively? You mentioned not turning the ball over. What do you guys need to do defensively to handle this Silver Bluff offense?
Pillion did put 27 on us.
That's right.
So we go back to that game. But Silver Bluff is very, like I said, they're very good in space. They do a good job they get in a lot of different formations, spread the field in a lot of different ways. So they're very balanced. They run the ball well. They do a good job of throwing perimeter screens, get the ball downfield in the passing game. So they present a lot of different opportunities. They present a lot of different challenges defensively for you. So, we've got to be keyed in, and I think we're up to the challenge. I think we've proven that for throughout the year that our defense will rise to the challenge, and they'll do a good job.
This is just one of 2 home games left for you guys over at Doug Bennett. And for folks who aren't in Lexington County, as I am day to day, I've lived here my entire life, except for a 1-year sojourn into Richland County. Doug Bennett's one of those stadiums that it's not talked about statewide, but man, it's a good home field advantage when that crowd's rocking. So you got 2 more opportunities, 2 more cuts at this thing. Your fans bring it. Describe that atmosphere for folks who aren't from around here who maybe haven't been to Doug Bennett. What's that atmosphere going to be like these next 2 weeks against Silver Bluff and I believe Fox Creek after that?
A couple weeks ago, I hear some other coaches talk about, the Friday night experience is not what it used to be. If you want to experience what Friday nights used to be, you come to Swansea. I looked up the other night, a couple weeks ago, we had homecoming and it's raining and our stands are completely full, just umbrellas everywhere, standing room only. Everybody's standing, on the fence. I mean, it is electric on Friday nights in Swansea. We have a great atmosphere. We've got a good PA guy. He's Brady Henderson's doing a good job for us. It is an outstanding atmosphere. And like I said, it reminds you of what Friday nights used to be.
Absolutely. And the town shuts down. I can tell you that Swansea, Pillion, even here, Airport, Brooklyn, Casey, White Knoll, where I'm living right now. I mean, the stadium, I tell folks, Coach, that the stadium for White Knoll is right back here for me. I mean, I could just throw a rock and hit Shane Fiddler in the head if I wanted to, and don't think I haven't thought about it. But that's a Friday night atmosphere that a lot of people don't think about. And I want to get to, we've talked about Silver Bluff. Obviously, you're not looking ahead. Of course you're not. You're focused on tonight. You're focused on the Bulldogs. But just the idea of what could be coming down the road on Halloween night, where you're going to have possibly, and I'm just, and you can tell me to shut up at any point, you're possibly going to have 2 undefeated teams playing for a region title up at Newberry. How big of a deal does this need to be statewide? How many people should be sounding the alarm about what's going on in this region, specifically with Swansea and Silver Bluff and Fox Creek and Newberry? There are a lot of good football teams in this region, Coach, that you guys have had to matriculate through. What does that say about your football team and your program?
Well, right now we've only played one region game. We've played Keenan and we've won that one, and we're coming off a bye week. Before everybody gets excited about, a hypothetical matchup between 2 undefeated teams down the road, we have to get there. And, we've got to take care of our business and do what we need to do. And then we'll worry about, I know that's not the answer that you want to hear, but that's what we need to worry. We need to worry about Silver Bluff right now. And we'll worry about Fox Creek and Newberry down the road.
The good news about it is, from my seat, I can worry about it because I don't have to worry about coaching
That's
tonight.
right.
I don't have to call exit. Hey, listen, I'd have a fun time trying it out, and maybe I'll just show up at Doug Bennett and say, "Coach, hand me the play sheet. Let me see what I can do."
Come on, man.
I won't.
Come on.
Hey, I'm not gonna call a 1-read curl route on 4th and 4 against the best DB in the country. I'll tell you that.
I hope not.
I'm just kidding. But as we just really quick, we like to talk about the players too. And Swansea doesn't get a lot of shine statewide, as your Spartanburgs, your Dormans, your Burns, your Somervilles, your Ashley Ridges, and here, there, and everywhere. Who are some players that folks around this state need to start to pay attention to when it comes to Swansea football?
We got a couple seniors. One of our maybe our best defensive player on a consistent basis is William Geddes. Plays linebacker for us. He's getting some looks from some smaller schools. He's been our leader now for several years. He's a very vocal leader, and he just does an outstanding job for us defensively, playing sideline to sideline, makes a lot of plays. Offensively, our best weapon this year so far has been Dante Caldwell. He's a senior running back. Does a good job of doing a lot of things for us. Does a good job of running the ball to the perimeter, has done a good job of running the ball between the tackles. He's caught the ball well out of the backfield this year. He's blocked well when we needed him to do that. And then he turns around and he plays a lot of defense for us too, as William plays a lot of offense. So both of those guys as seniors have done a good job for us. And we have a lot of young players that people are going to be hearing about here for the next few years. We got a young quarterback named Kendall Wright that has done a good job for us this year. We've got several young linemen that are going to be really good. Kevin Seitler, Jamari A. Jones, Carter Young. We've got a couple other young skill guys, DeAndre Caldwell, Trace Selfridge. I feel like we do a good job of spreading the ball around and getting it in different people's hands. And we're young. We're a good young football team. So that's encouraging, knowing that we're 7-0 right now, and we're starting a lot of sophomores.
And that'll lead me into my final question for you, Coach. How encouraging is that for you as a coach who's trying to build a program? This isn't your first go around as a head football coach, but when you're trying to build this program at Swansea, how encouraging is it for you that you have buy-in from sophomores? And they are key cogs into this machine that has played well in 2025. And how encouraging is that for you? I know you're focused on tonight and you're focused on this season, but how encouraging is that for 2026 and 2027 and 2028 that you've now sort of created a nucleus that hopefully for you and for your program just becomes second nature and the culture around Swansea football?
Right. It's very encouraging as a coach to be young and be good. A lot of times when you're young, you have to struggle through some things. But we've been able to have success and be young at the same time. So that is really encouraging. And I think we've got our JV and our middle school team going in the right direction at this point too. So, we're just trying to build a program the right way. And it's nice that we have buy-in from all those levels. So.
Well, Coach, I believe you're building your program the right way. That's Coach Willie Fox of the Swansea Tigers, 7-0, looking to go to 8-0 tonight against the Silver Bluff Bulldogs, and that game is at home for Swansea at Doug Bennett Stadium. They've got tonight, and then next week's a home game against Fox Creek. The Predators are off to a great start as well. This region, y'all, I'm telling you, this region is not getting talked about enough because it really hasn't gotten into the heart of it yet. But region play is there for this region. Got a lot of great teams there. Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Best of luck tonight. We look forward to seeing what Swansea puts on the field tonight in a big-time region matchup.
All right. Thank you for having me.
And that was a great interview between Justin and Coach Fox at Swansea. We're going to go to a quick break real quick, and then we will be right back to talk Clover at Indian Land with Coach Perry Woolbright. And looking forward to that as well. See you real soon after this quick break.
It's football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
Oh man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
Check the statewide high school scoreboard every Friday night on the Chief Sports app.
This is Four Quarter Friday, hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall, taking a deep dive into high school athletics in South Carolina every Friday morning, part of the Chief Sports Network.
Welcome back into Four Quarter Friday. Justin Hall, Steve Hall with you. Glad to be joined by Coach Perry Woolbright of the Clover Blue Eagles this morning. Obviously, Coach, a big-time matchup tonight against Indian, but I want to go back a couple of weeks. You picked up your 100th win as a head football coach. Talk about that. I know a lot of folks here in the Midlands obviously know the Woolbright name well. Most people around the state know the Woolbright name well, and miss seeing you over here in Lexington County. But just have you had a chance to reflect on that, or is it just all systems go? We're ready for the next week. We're focused on 2025. I'll think about that in like February.
Yeah, it was getting ready for next week. It was a big win for us over our rivals York that night. But then, it was right back to business, getting ready for first region game the very next week. So didn't have time to much think about it. But, it's definitely a credit to all the great players that I've coached all the way back to North Myrtle Beach. And then all the great assistants I've had. I've been fortunate to have great guys around me. And I tell them all the time, I'm just a bus driver, drive the bus to the game.
Coach, thanks for joining us this morning. It's good to see you. Tonight, y'all got a tough matchup against one of the best defenses in the state. But last year, y'all won this game 21-7. What is it going to take tonight? What are y'all seeing on film of what Indian Land likes to do defensively and then offensively for y'all? What is, obviously, without giving away the game plan, tell the whole state kind of what y'all are looking to do on every Friday night.
Yeah, it's a very talented team. It's the reason they're 7-0. Got a lot of guys came back had a good team last year. We were fortunate enough to come out on top, but they got a lot of guys back. Defensively, given up very few touchdowns all year. Other than one game, they've only given up 3 touchdowns. They do a great job attacking. Their front four are very good. Foster kid at defensive end is one of the best in the state. Secondary's athletic. Of course, you got Saquil Patterson on one side. Anytime you got a guy like that, an early enrollee, early graduate going to a reclass guy going to South Carolina. And then the corner on the other side had 2 interceptions last week because he's getting a lot of action because teams don't want to throw to Saquil. So they kind of got the package to where they can bring the heat to you and then kind of protect it on the back end where you can't give up big plays. Kind of for us, it's the same game plan as every week. We want to be a physical team. We want to go out and control the line of scrimmage. Kind of mix in our pass with our run. We feel like if we can do that, we can keep teams off balance. We are a little bit different than what most teams face, just because we do very few things, but we try to do them very efficiently. It's not going to be a lot of razzle-dazzle, stuff like that. We're going to kind of line up, come hit you in the mouth, and then see how you respond to that.
Coach, what's it been like? Obviously, this is another year up there at Clover, and most folks will associate that Woolbright name with Midlands and maybe specifically Lexington County coaching. What's the difference between Midlands football and upstate football? I think a lot of people know there are differences within every region of the state. How different is it coaching up there compared to coaching down here, and the different style of football that you see once you get past, say, Newberry and Pomeria?
I'd say, going from 5A to 5A, it's about the same. What you see down there, we had Dutch Fork in the region. Up here, we got Northwestern in the region. So you need trading one for the other.
Yeah.
Really good coaches, week in and week out. And I guess up here, I would say, especially at the top end of the 4 and 5A, no matter where you go, you're going to find a good team. You got the Midlands down there, then you got to go all the way to Florence, all the way to Aiken here. I mean, right beside us, you got Gaffney on one side. You got Indian Land over there on the other side. Then you just go right past Gaffney. Then you got to deal with all the Spartanburg schools, the Dorman, Spartanburg, Burns. And on the other side of them, the Greenville County schools. So, just the top to bottom up here, there's not a week where you can just say, all right, hey, this week, if we go out and do what we're supposed to do, we'll be able to get some other guys in the game. That up here, it's a war of attrition, and that's a big part of it. And really anywhere, but it's staying healthy. We're 7 weeks in. Fortunate enough, I had a bye week last week. But we kind of been banged up here and there like everybody else. But getting to this time of year, it's important to stay healthy in key spots because, we're not loaded with depth. We got some really good players and we got a good team. But we're not the team that's got 8 Division I guys out there on the field. We're just going to kind of go out there and play hard and do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean this time of year where you just gotta find a way to win, and coach, y'all have done that a lot over your career at North Myrtle Beach, Lexington, Batesburg, Leesville, now Clover. Speaking on the defensive side of the ball for the Eagles, what are y'all going to have to do against the Indian Land offense if y'all want to get the victory tonight?
First we're going to have to stop the run. They got some talented guys at receiver that can make big plays, but at the end of the day, they want to run the ball first and then kind of get you over top because, of course, in offense, you still got to worry about Sequil. Plays corner and receiver for him, and they move him around, try to get him the ball in the backfield. He's kind of the big play guy. We want to make them snap the ball as many times as we can. We don't want to give up the 1 and 2 play drives. We want them, if they score, we want them to have to work for it and do it 10, 12 play drives. Because that's tough for an offense. If offense isn't used to doing that, that's more apt to make mistakes, more apt to kind of do things you're not accustomed to doing. A lot of teams, they want to score right now. They want to score quick. And so they doesn't get accustomed to having, 8, 9, 10 play drives and being okay with a 4-yard gain, then a 3-yard gain, then back to a 4-yard gain and just kind of working the ball down the field. So we want to create those opportunities to where it gives our defenses more chance to make plays and then their offense more chance to make mistakes.
Coach, it's a big-time matchup tonight. I know Friday mornings are, I think, a routine for you. Glad you could make the time for us and join us, talk about your team. We look forward to seeing what you guys are doing the rest of this regular season. Of course, you're gearing up for the playoffs, and that 5A upstate area is just loaded with playoff teams. And we look forward to seeing what the Blue Eagles of Clover can do in the playoffs in 2025. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank y'all. Appreciate all y'all doing. Appreciate, y'all getting the name out around the state. The Midlands has some really great coverage. And, from leaving down there, you definitely miss that because some of the guys between Lou and all the guys down there do a great job coverage. And Ian's done a great job with the prep red zone. And then y'all know with this, it's really helping get our kids' names out for all around the state because South Carolina's talented from one end to another.
Per capita, one of the best high school football production states in the country. And I think every sport for that matter, basketball, baseball, you look at it, you can look at Hall of Fames and greatest players in their different sports, and there are a lot of Palmetto State representatives in there. Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Go get them up at Indian Land.
All right, thank y'all.
That's Eagles. Oh, I just dropped off the screen. There we go.
Yep. Oops.
Wrong person. Coach can stay on and host if he wants. That's fine with me. My sinuses are like, yeah, we'll take a break. All right, so we got to catch up here just real quick. I want to flip back to the PD real quick. Let's flip back to the PD because that were great conversations with Coach Willie Fox and Coach Perry Woolbright. But we got games to note. We got games to talk about. So let's get started here. In the PD, the Armada of Atlantic Collegiate host the Monarchs of Manning tonight. Manning comes in 4-3. Both teams 2-1 in region. All of these are region games, by the way. Save a few. I'll mention them if they're not. Lakeview goes to Latta tonight. How about Latta? 5-1, but a 1-1 start in region. The Buford Yellow Jackets are at Chesterfield tonight. Chesterfield, a disappointing season thus far at 3-4. They're 0-2 in region. They need to get a region win. How about this game, though, Steve? Hartsville going to Darlington. Our Darlington Falcons. Mm-hmm. Hartsville got off to a rough start. 1-3 this year, and then boom, 3 straight wins in the region. and they are sitting at 4-3 overall. If I just flip over to those region standings real quick, guess what we got shaping up here down the stretch? For the region, if Hartsville maintains the course, we have a game coming up between the Red Foxes of Hartsville and the Bruins of South Lawrence. Blockbuster cinema.
That's right.
For the region.
That's right. Well, before we even get there, this is what Darlington is calling Hartsville Hate Week. And just through some, personal visits in Darlington County this week, I found out that Darlington is going around the school and covering up every H they can find.
The old Ohio State method.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. So
All right. Well,
as we move on, we got the Lower Richland Diamond Hornets traveling to the Lakewood Gators, who are still winless on the year, looking for their first win. Lamar Silver Foxes 5-2, 2-0 in region, doing what Lamar does. We're not surprised by that. Traveling to Lee Central to play the Stallions. The Lake City Panthers are going to play the Marion Swamp Foxes tonight. Dillon Lions are going to Marlboro County for a big-time matchup in Bennettsville tonight. Socastee Braves are traveling to see Coach Mickey Wilson and the Myrtle Beach Seahawks. The Seahawks are 5-2 on the year, 2-0 in region. And another big team that people are not talking a lot about, but they should be, Carolina Forest Panthers are 6-1, 2-0 in region, and traveling to the North Myrtle Beach Chiefs. And then we got the Conway Tigers, 2-5, 1-1 on the year, traveling to St. James to play the Sharks. The Sharks are 0-2 in the region. And then, as the previously mentioned South Florence Bruins, they are 6-1, 3-0 in the year. A crosstown rival game tonight. Wilson Tigers, they're 5-3, 2-2 on the year. And we'll cover the rest of the games when we get back from this quick break.
Palm Casual Outdoor Patio Furniture proudly supports high school athletics across South Carolina. If it's time to make your outdoor space the best it can be, with lifetime warranties and guarantees, visit one of our Palm Casual stores in Myrtle Beach, Bluffton, Somerville, or Mount Pleasant. PalmCasual.com. PalmCasual.com. Turn on the lights. It's Friday night.
At Moultrie Insurance, our agents are working for you. Our commercial lines of coverage are well sourced and intimately chosen. We offer commercial lines of coverage such as business owners, umbrella, property, auto, or general liability coverage, and evaluate every option to find what fits you best. Like a good offensive coordinator, we will draw up the plays, but only run with what you feel comfortable. Get in touch with our quarterback, Perry Orth, or our head coach, Frank, by visiting MoultrieINS.com. MoultrieINS.com.
It's the 4-Quarter Friday High School Show on the Chief Sports Network. Proudly covering high school athletics across the state of South Carolina. With accurate, trusted analysis, in-depth interviews with coaches, media, and players, and quality information. Hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall. Now back to the show. Here's Justin and Steve.
Welcome back to the 4-Quarter Friday show. It is October 17th, the year of our Lord 2025. And Justin, we're going to dig into the upstate now after talking to Coach Woolbright and covering the Clover at Indian Land game. Big time game tonight. If Clover wins, it puts them into the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. But before we get down to the rest of the games in the upstate, I want to just start with the Woodruff Wolverines hosting the Mountain View Prep Stars. I know Roger's in the chat, and he is going to be at the game and looking very much forward to this game. Justin, we've been circling this game for probably a month now, maybe even longer. Last year's matchup was a thriller. a 40-38 win by Mountain View Prep. And both teams would actually reach the upper state semifinals. And then quarterback Mark Anderson of Mountain View Prep has passed for 1,200 yards, 81% completion rate, and 13 touchdowns to just one interception. And then he also leads the team with 646 rushing yards. So I think it's safe to say that Woodruff is going to have to contain Mac Anderson. Excuse me.
Yep.
I probably said Mark earlier. But Woodruff is very talented in its own right. They got a talented cornerback, Connor Davis, and we all know about Aiden Gibson. And I'll just say the Greenville News, their two experts, are both picking Mountain View, and I'm just going to go ahead and say not so fast, my friends. I think Woodruff's a little bit more talented, or not more talented, excuse me, more tested, and you just got to really put that into the equation for tonight's game. Now, I'm not saying Woodruff is definitely going to win, but this is going to be potentially, and I shamefully, left this off of our Game of the Week graphic that we sent out last night. This might be the best game in the state tonight.
Oh, that's a high bar. That's a high bar. That's a hot take. It could be. It could be. These are two very good football teams, good offenses. I'm with you. I think there's something to be said when you get to about October 17th, as we are right now, that you're looking at a battle-tested team in Woodruff. Yeah, they got a loss, but you aren't always what your record says you are. It's the worst axiom in sports. You are not always what your record says you are. And Mountain View hasn't been tested to that limit yet. All credit to the teams on their schedule, and all credit to them. And use this in your hype video if you want. I'm interested to see how they handle tonight, especially the atmosphere up at Woodruff. I know Roger will be there, and he makes all the difference for Woodruff. So best of luck to both teams. But I'm with you. I would be hard pressed to pick against Woodruff tonight. That Woodruff can't pull out a win against Mountain View.
Yeah, especially at home.
Exactly.
Well, with the rest of we got to get through the rest of these games, Justin. This is a massive slate up in the upstate, but we have the Spartanburg Vikings coming off a big win against Dorman. They're traveling to the Boiling Spring Bulldogs. Both teams are 4-3 on the year. McCormick, the Bulldogs of McCormick, traveling to Calhoun Falls Charter. Christ Church traveling to Carolina. 2-5, 0-2 on the year for in the region for Carolina. Union County 1-7, 0-2 on the year, traveling to Chapman. Somebody is going to get their first region win this week. North Central's traveling to Sherrall to play the Braves. Landrum Cardinals traveling to Clinton. Red Devils 5-3, 2-0 in the year, and continually rising to the top of the rankings in 2A.
Yeah, Queen asked about that really quick. Mm-hmm. Queen asked about that in the chat, so I want to make sure we just note that really quick. So if you've got questions about games, we'll talk about them briefly. I don't like Landrum's chances tonight against Clinton. Coach Corey Fountain's got that team rolling. I've said it for weeks. Whatever their record is, they're the best of that record in the state. So Clinton's 5-3. They're the best 5-3 team in the state. I promise you that. They tested themselves outside of region play. They're going to have it rolling. As we hit toward late October, they're starting to fire off well. I like Clinton a lot tonight. Sorry, Queen.
That's great. We love our viewers and when they're chiming in for sure. BHP, the Bears 7-0, 1-0 in the region, traveling to Crescent to play the Tigers. They're 5-2 and 2-0 in the region. BHP, can anyone slow them but down? We will see. Blue Flame of Pickens, 2-5, 1-2 on the year, traveling to Daniel to play the Tigers. They're 6-1 and 3-0 in region. The Rams of Hillcrest, 4-3, 2-2 on the year, traveling to Easley. They're 3-4, 1-3 on the year. Southside Tigers, 0-7, are traveling to Emerald. They're 3-4, but 0-2 in region. Someone's going to get their first region win tonight, which could be big for playoffs time if they can get to. West Side Rams, they're 3-4, but 2-0 in the region, traveling to play the Fountain Inn Fury, 4-3, 1-1 on the year. Riverside Warriors, they're 3-4, 2-2 in region, playing Gaffney, 5-2. All of a sudden, Gaffney is making everybody kind of look foolish for doubting them early in the season. They're 4-0 in region. C.A. Johnson, the Hornets, 3-4, 1-1 in the region, traveling to play Great Falls and the Red Devils. And the Malden Mavericks are traveling to play the Greenville Red Raiders. Greenville's going to try to bounce back after that tough game against Greenwood last week. We've already talked about the Clover Blue Eagles, Justin, but having going down to the next game here, we got the Burns Rebels hosting the Eastside Eagles. Eastside's 0-4 in the region. Burns is definitely looking to bounce back after a couple tough losses earlier in this region play. TL Hanna. All right, y'all. The only loss they got is against Burns early in the year. They're 4-0 in region, 6-1 overall, traveling to play JL Mann and the Patriots tonight. South Point Stallions are 6-1, 3-0 in region, and going to play the Lancaster Bruins. Justin, I think you have a note about this game.
I do. Lancaster. I'm sorry for any Bruins fans who are in the audience right now because you're not going to like me after this. South Point's outscoring their opponents 179-69. The Stallions play defense, and they play it well. Play it better than many teams in the state. Lancaster is 2-5. They're 2-1 in region, but they're getting outscored 208-90. Your recipe try to get on track is not to play a South Point team that has surrendered less than 70 points total in 7 games this year.
Good note there. The Wren Golden Hurricanes, 5-2, 2-0 in the region, and kind of rolling right now, and playing the Lawrence Raiders, who are struggling, but 1-1 in region. They got their first win. Justin, I think that was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
They run together for me. I'll effort that.
Yeah, we are week 8. If you're counting week 0 as a 0. The Eagles of Chesney, 4-3 on the year, going to play the Liberty Red Devils, and the Catawba Ridge Copperheads are traveling to Nation Ford. Nation Ford's looking for their first win in region play this year. The Patriots, 5-2, 2-0 in the region, traveling to Palmetto. They're 1-6, 1-1 in the region. Two really good teams up there in Powdersville, South Carolina that we're looking at. West Oak Warriors, they're 4-4, 0-2 in the region, traveling to Pendleton to play the Bulldogs. They're 1-0 so far in region play. The Trojans of Northwestern, nobody needs to give you any kind of insight of how good they are. They're 7-1, 4-0 in region, traveling to play Rock Hill and the Bearcats. They're 3-1 and look to be much improved. Greer Yellow Jackets, 4-4, but 4-0 in the region, traveling to play Seneca Wildcats. They're 7-1, 3-1 in region. This is a big game, Justin. Do you got any notes on this one? Did we lose?
I was looking at that game earlier, and I needed to gather some notes on it. Just ran out of time in prep. But I'm looking at this, and this is another game where I feel like I just overlooked it.
Yeah.
In my determinations for games of the week, Greer's got an opportunity to wrap up that region here. Let me take a look at the region standings. I mean, Seneca can move into a tie for first place with a win tonight. In this region, both teams are scoring the football. Seneca, how about this, has scored 333 points this season.
Wow.
333 points. That offense is moving. Greer's surrendered 211. We could be in for a shootout tonight if we're not careful. That's a game to watch.
Yeah.
And by the way, Brandon is our stats and info department. Last week, Southside lost to Lawrence 58-0. So last week was Lawrence's first win of the season.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you very much. And this is kind of how much of a pro Justin is, and I'm glad he's my cohort here. That was a not a planned go-to for that. Yeah. So thanks, Justin, for having that ready. Andrews, they're 3-4, 2-0 in the region, traveling to Timberland. Me and you actually talked about this game this week in our prep. This is a big game now. Andrews has got some talented players on defense, and Timberland's had some tough games as well. But this is a game to look out for sure. The Tigers of Blue Ridge, and actually I don't know why we have that in the upstate. As a side note, the Tigers of Blue Ridge 4-3 on the year, traveling to Travelers Rest to play the Devil Dogs. Dorman 3-1, 5-2 on the year. playing the Wade Hampton Generals tonight. Berea of the Bulldogs are 0-4 in region, 1-6 on the year. Traveling to Walhalla to play the Razorbacks, 0-7 on the year. Dixie, the Hornets, 6-1, 2-0 in region. Traveling to Ware Shoals, 2-0. That's a
There's
big
another game of the week.
That's another one that they can't all be game of the weeks, unfortunately.
True.
But
nominee, sneaky,
it's a nominee.
could be a game
Yep.
of the week after the game is played.
That's right. The Mountain View Prep Stars, they're 7-0. We already talked about this, Justin, going to play the Woodruff Wolverines. The Greenwood Eagles, 6-1, coming off a big win, going to play the Woodmont Wildcats. And then we finally have the Camden Bulldogs traveling to play York, 2-5, 1-2 on the year. And Justin, we're going to go to just a really quick break. And we're going to cover the rest of the state and try to fit it all in.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
Might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I liked that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, Freddie.
You bet.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com.
Do your wood floors need a touch-up? Visit recoatrevolution.com in South Carolina today.
Welcome back to Four Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network. Glad you're with us. Glad you're riding along on this Friday to talk high school football and get ready for a great night across the state. Weather's starting to change, starting to feel a little bit more like fall, and able to maybe wear some long sleeves if you feel the need to. I'm going to call an audible here, Steve. We're going to jump to the low country, and then we'll wrap with the Midlands, if that's okay. I've got my sheets printed out, and that's the order they're in, so that's how we're going to do it. I don't know how it got that way. Denmark Oler is at Allendale Fairfax tonight. Someone's getting their first region win. Both teams a combined 1-14 this season. Not great. Somerville, the Green Wave, go to Ashley Ridge tonight. Ashley Ridge comes in 4-3, 2-0 in region. Somerville 6-1, 2-0 in region. Somerville coming off of a big-time win over James Island last week in the rain. That game, you might as well have brought a boat because it rained so much down there in the low country. But Somerville got a good win, a defensive struggle win. But a win I think they're proud of. I think they're willing to take that. They're a lunch pail kind of team, so they're willing to do that. Here's another potential game of the week. Again, we're talking Ridgeland and Bamberg Earhart. Now again, and here's why I say Queen. I'm going back to Queen because Queen tells me that Coach Spurrier is a big proponent of you are what your record says you are. Maybe at the end of the year. But when we're talking about in the middle of the season, here's why it's a little deceiving. If I would tell you, oh, well, Ridgeland's 4-4 and Bamberg Earhart's 7-0, you'd say, oh, well, what? Ridgeland's 3-0 in region. So they have turned it on in region play of the Jaguars. So a game to monitor.
Yeah, a lot of people do often forget, like, region play is the only thing that truly matters at the end of the year, especially for playoffs.
Right, exactly. St. John's, the Islanders go to the Bobcats at Baptist Hill tonight. Baptist Hill 6-2. The Hurricanes of Hampton County, are going to Barnwell to take on the War Horses tonight. The Warriors of Wando are 4-3. They travel over to Berkeley to take on the Stags of Berkeley. So that is the Jamie Bradford Chris Deering Bowl tonight. I haven't gotten a score prediction from Jamie Bradford as of yet. I imagine I'll get that in 3 2-1. The Beaufort Eagles are 3-4. They travel to the battling Bishops of Bishop England. How about Bishop England? Off to a slow start in region play. They have run into a brick wall. They're 0-2 in region play after starting the year 5-0. Military Magnet goes to Branchville tonight. Those teams are combined 1-13. The Woodland Wolverines are going to Burke tonight. Burke's 0-5, looking for their first win of the season, while Blackville Hilda goes to Calhoun County tonight to take on the Saints. Goose Creek travels to Lucy Beckham. Lucy Beckham's 4-2 on the year. Goose Creek 0-7. I like Lucy Beckham in that one, not even just based on the records. I like that team. West Ashley goes to Stall tonight, a 1-6 Stall team. A 1-6 Colleton County team hosts Bluffton tonight, 5-2. Loris is 7-0. They go to the 0-7 Bulldogs of Georgetown tonight. And the Flashes of Johnsonville, where's Lance? The Flashes of Johnsonville go to Green Sea Floyds. Green Sea Floyds 0-7 on the season. Hunter Counter Tyler, the Trojans, host the Blue Devils of Williston Elko. Hunter Counter Tyler looking to get to 3-0. The Fort Dorchester Patriots are 3-4 on the year. They're going to James Island. James Island coming off of that loss to Somerville last week. And here's a game that I'm keeping an eye on tonight, Steve, and it is May River hosting Hilton Head. And I got notes on this one. If I can just flip the paper here really quick. May River is averaging 328 rushing yards per game. Throwing the ball is optional for May River, and they're pretty darn good at just running the football. You got any more thoughts or input on this?
Yeah, Hilton Head is absolutely more balanced offensively. They came away with a huge win a few weeks ago against the battling Bishops. Which surprised you a little bit, but I was kind of looking at that game and seeing, well, Coach BJ Payne down there has coached a lot of good football players, a lot of good football teams down there. I know Gamecock Nation has some different feelings about that team down there, but all that aside, the quarterback, and if I butcher this name for Hilton Head, quarterback Derek Ranazuski, he's got 1,000 yards passing, which is, good, good enough for them. They're running the ball a lot too. Jeremiah Walters, the receiver, is averaging 24 yards of reception. He's got 436 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then they have additionally 1,500 rushing yards on the year. But back to May River, what you were talking, they're a tough prep team to prep for. They got a unique offense. They have attempted 8 passes all year.
Excuse me, run that number again.
8 passes
in a game,
according to Prep Red Zone. So,
well, those guys are professionals.
Those guys are good. Yes, absolutely. They got 2,200 yards rushing. Sean Mitchell, who also plays on the defensive side of the ball, 1,000 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns. So
great day.
This is a you couldn't be more different, these two teams.
Well, I like the idea of that game ending by 9:00. I'll put it that way. I like that game wrapping up pretty quickly, and not because it's a running clock, just because they're running the clock. Battery Creek goes to Oceanside Collegiate tonight. The Land Sharks are setting up a big-time matchup with Orangeburg Wilkinson at the end of the year. Again, we're within 3 weeks of the final week of the regular season. Hard to believe, and I'm starting to look at those kind of matchups. The Iron Horses of Philip Simmons go to Academic Magnet tonight. Cane Bay is at Stratford. Aner is at Waccamaw. Lake Marion goes to Whale Branch. And Scotts Branch goes to the Mohawks of Bethune-Bowman. There's your low country. We flip on over because we've only got about 10 minutes left. Again, a reminder, Inside the Gamecocks, the preview show is coming up next on the Chief Sports Network. JC, questionable, Phil Molinax, and then a cavalcade of guests, including Rafael Esparza, Chef Will. I don't know if Matt Anderson's going to be there because he went to Disney this week in the middle of football season, which is fascinating. And then my favorite segment of the entire week is John Strickland and Michael Flint in the final hour of the preview show. It's the best hour you'll get of breakdown of what to expect from a Gamecock football game. We go to the Midlands next. Midland Valley coming off of a loss to Gilbert last week, where Gilbert held Midland Valley to 14 points after Midland Valley scored 63 against my Airport Eagles. Midland Valley goes to Aiken.
Region in the state, right?
Pound for pound.
Regions. Pound
for pound.
Yeah.
I gotta qualify pound for pound, but I agree with you. Aiken, crosstown rival, They are at 2-5. Central goes to Andrew Jackson tonight. The Volunteers are 2-0 in region play. The Patriots of American Leadership Academy, that school is right down the road that way from me, goes to Batesburg-Leesville. Batesburg-Leesville 4-3 this year. How about Batesburg-Leesville? They've turned the corner so much that 4-3 for me is disappointing. Sumter, the Gamecocks, go to Blythewood tonight. Sumter 6-1 in the region. That's a tough region. Sumter Ridgeview coming down the pike here. Heads up. Game of the week. Going to go ahead and salt that one away. Be on the lookout for that one in a couple weeks. The Cyclones of Chester go to Columbia tonight, right in the downtown area. The Capitals are 3-4. River Bluffs 3-4. They go to Chapin to take on the Eagles, who were 0-7. Chapin's having the similarities between Chapin and Airport this year are striking. Chapin's having a very rough year, a very young team. They'll take their lumps. They'll get back to it in a year or two. You'll see a much improved football team. Lexington, the Wildcats are trending upward a little bit in their performance. I bet you get Dutch.
They're young as well, Justin. They're young as well.
They're young, but they're trending up. Yeah. I like their trajectory. But they've got Dutch Fork tonight.
Does a good job.
5-1. He's doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
The W.J. Keenan Raiders are 2-6. They go to Fox Creek. I mentioned Fox Creek with Coach Willie Fox earlier in our conversation with him. Keep an eye on Fox Creek. They go to Swansea next week. They get a win here. They'll be 6-2. Could be a big time matchup there. Brooklyn Casey goes to Gilbert, and I've got notes on this game somewhere. These teams have split the last 4 meetings. They're 2-2 against each other in the last 4. And how about BC's quarterback, Andrew Frick? 1,500 yards passing and 12 touchdowns for G.A. Mangus. And Win Metz had 134 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns last week in Gilbert's win over Midland Valley. Again, a really good game in the Midlands there between those two teams. South Aiken goes to Gray Collegiate. Gray can put the vice grips on that region tonight with a win over South Aiken. White Knoll goes to Irmo tonight. Game of the week in the Midlands. Game of the week in the Midlands. And I know White Knoll's coming off of that rough loss, but how about this? We look at RPI for Division 2 in 5A. Irmo's the number 1 team in RPI. Do you know who the number 2 team in RPI is?
I'm going to guess White Knoll based on the fact that you're bringing it up.
Good look at you. Context clues. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is a rematch, by the way, of last year's lower state championship game in Division 2. Irmo squeaked that one, 29-25. I have it on good authority, Mr. Steve Hall, because if I said Mr. Hall, I'd be confusing myself, that this game has been circled by certain people in a certain school. I'll leave that one to you to let you figure out which team has circled this game. I will wager to bet that this game will be a dogfight of a football game.
Yeah, I think the matchup is very intriguing. And as anybody who watches a lot of football, it's all about matchups. It doesn't have anything to do with the records. Typically, Dutch Fork and White Knoll played last week. I was there for the second half, and unfortunately, it kind of got away and kind of ruined, the turnovers. White Knoll's got to hold on to the football this week. But I will say, without those turnovers, White Knoll was trending in position to win that game. I came away very impressed with Jace McKeever or McIver. I might be mistaken in that pronunciation, but he's dynamic. Everybody knows about Caleb Geronimi. He's got to play a little bit better this week on defense. He plays corner as well. Stone Fury kind of beat him a little bit, but Stone Fury's a really good player as well. But they're going to have to contain Jaden Bryant, which last week they did a good job against Justin, you're going to have to help me out with this name. But anyway, well, I'm looking at the clock. We got 6 minutes left. We still have to hit the rest of the games. But Malik Miller, running back, a little bit of he plays outside as well. They're going to have to contain him. White Knoll has a great defense. So, defensively, I see this being, last week I said this was going to be a defensive matchup when White Knoll was playing Dutch Fork. Boy, was I wrong. We're going to have to see what happens tonight, but this matchup is just intriguing at so many levels.
Absolutely. It's going to be It's going to be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to it. The Griffins of Fairfield Central go to Eau Claire. How about Eau Claire? 4-3 this year. Look at the Shamrocks, just hanging around over 500 this season. The Falcons of AC Flora take on Drea. Neither of those teams have to travel because they both play at Memorial Stadium downtown, just for what it's worth. Dreher comes in 3-5. Head coach is Corey Jenkins, former Gamecock. I am obligated by law to mention that the North Augusta Yellow Jackets are hosting the Airport Eagles tonight. Airport comes in 0-7. Ridge Spring Minetta is at Wagner Sally tonight. West Florence goes to Ridgeview. Ridgeview's 5-2 overall, 3-0 in region. Again, a win tonight for Ridgeview, and we have a fun final 2 weeks of the season in that region. Just something to keep your eye on. 96 having a tough year. They go to Saluda tonight. Saluda 5-2, 2-0 in region. Pillion goes to Strom Thurmond. How about the Rebels? Strom Thurmond having a great year at 5-2. I was actually drove right past their stadium last weekend going to a wedding reception. So I was out Strom Thurmond area. And the Bulldogs of Silver Bluff go to Swansea tonight. 4-4 are the Silver Bluff Bulldogs, but they are playing well. They get Swansea tonight at Doug Bennett Stadium. Steve, any parting shots on this game that we talked about with Coach Fox earlier?
Yeah, just a few things. Silver Bluff won the matchup last year by 30 points, so Swansea's looking to improve on that this year, and they are improved as a team. But Swansea's looking for their first 8-0 start since 1992. That season, they finished undefeated and won the first of 3 straight titles. Swansea's allowing 10.6 points per game. But something that's interesting, something to keep in mind, again, to your point earlier, that the record doesn't exactly say who you are. Swansea's strength of schedule, that their opponents are 17-35 on the year, and then Silver Bluff's opponents are 36-23. So Silver Bluff has had a really tough out of region schedule this year. So
they have.
Yeah,
they have. Yeah, they have. And it sets up for a great game. I'm looking forward to tracking that one all night. Lugoff Elgin goes to Westwood. Westwood trying to keep pace in that region. That's the same. That's a great region, by the way. Westwood trying to keep pace there. And here's another under the radar game. I'm not gonna say game of the week. Under the radar game. North Charleston at Orangeburg Wilkinson. The Bruins trying to keep a good season going. They're undefeated, and of course have a forfeit thrown in there. It's worth noting. But Orangeburg Wilkinson hosting North Charleston tonight again could be setting up between an Orangeburg Wilkinson and Oceanside Collegiate game later this season for the region there in 3A. That is a look at all the games. Again, I've been saying all week, it's kind of a sleepy week. And then the more I dig into these games, the more I'm like, wow, actually, a lot of really great games tonight, especially if you invest yourself in them. It's going to be a great slate of matchups. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Thank you. Allergies are really, really running roughshod right now in the sinuses. So really appreciate that. We slog through. We power through. We're fighters. We get through it really quickly. I want to give you some Skeeza matchups before we get out of here. St. John's Christian is at Hilton Head Prep tonight. Jefferson Davis Academy is at Cross Academy. Calhoun Academy is at Patrick Henry. Here's a game of the weekend Skeeza for you. Pinewood Prep at Northwood. Northwood 7-1 this year. Their claim to fame is they beat Hammond this year. Florence Christian is at Wilson Hall, another great game in Skeeza. Kings Academy is at Palmetto Christian. Lee Academy is at PD Academy. And actually, they have 2 different Lee Academies here, so we'll determine whether Lee Academy is playing Colin Prep or PD Academy, whichever one you want to go with. You'll find out. Lee Academy's on the road in both of those games. They're being played at the same time. I don't think they do split squad scrimmages. And here, I will wrap up the show with this. I love name games. Here's a name game for you. John Paul II is at Thomas Hayward. John Paul II, 4-3 on the year. Thomas Hayward is 2-3. Steve, we got through it. Well, I got through it. You're fine. But we got through a Friday morning. And looking forward to a great slate of games tonight. A reminder, Inside the Gamecocks, the preview show is next on the Chief Sports Network. We'll be tracking all these games. Steve, are you at a game tonight?
We will see. Not sure yet.
Ooh, it's up in the air. We determine if Steve's at a game. If he is, you'll be seeing that on our Twitter page, or X page. Make sure to follow 4 Quarter Friday on Twitter. Follow us on all the socials, Facebook included. Share this with your friends and family. We appreciate you guys. Looking forward to a great night of football. We'll see you next Friday morning right here on 4 Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network.
From the Low Country to the Upstate, from the Midlands to the PD, we've got you covered. This is our state. South Carolina matters to us. all of South Carolina. We love talking ball, and we love talking ball with you. Thank you for tuning in to the 4-Quarter Friday High School Show. Every Friday at 9 a.m. on the Chief Sports Network. Now, back to Justin and Steve.